Mi gente, what's good? My name is DJ Integrity. I am the host of Mixed Mondays, and what you're about to see is a recap of a past interview that we have done on Twitch. Make sure that you're following us there, Oxen Brand Music, and then also like and subscribe for more content like this. Dale.
Feel me? I'm just hyped to see like just the line. I love the vibe of it. I see I got some Romans in the building too. Paul, that's my guy from Muncie.
Yeah.
Stephanie from Muncie. So much love to everybody else in the chat. I don't quite know as well yet, but we always rock the building too. You feel me? So I'm hyped.
Hey, sometimes the chat be flying too, so I do my best. But
I got
hey, like
Chris Mack too. My bad. No, none of my dogs came through, so I'm excited.
Real Chris Mack. Okay, what's up? What's up? Appreciate you. Hey, thank you, Real Chris Mack, for the follow too, man. Appreciate that. So you've got your group here. You call Romans, but before we get into that, can you, for those of us who don't know, obviously you got your people here, but for those of you guys who don't know the homie Rome, could you give us a little background as to who you are?
Yeah, 100%. So, what I'm saying? I'm just a young dude from Indianapolis, Indiana, you feel me? Out the Midwest. Shout out to the Midwest, you feel me? Originally grew up on the northwest side of Pike, suburb type area, but because of mental illness in my family, in my household, we stayed in the hood a lot of times on the near east side. So I kind of come from a world that's kind of living in between, switching between like the white community, black community, but also I live next to some Latinos and some Asians next door. So I'm really just pretty much all around, but my family specifically has somewhat of a Christian background. But I didn't know God until about my freshman year of high school, was when I was wrestling heavy with pornography. And then I went to a church camp. Long story short, God convicted me of my sin. The gospel was preached to me. Originally, hip hop was the way I found identity, significance. But it was a Christian rapper I met. I don't know if y'all know him. His name is Roy Tosh, actually.
Hey, yes, we know about Roy Tosh. Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually met him. Oh, my God, Tyler Baker in the chat, too. What's up, Tyler Arnell? But I've actually met him at the church camp. I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing hip hop because I found so much of my identity and significance wrapped up in it. But he sort of just started breaking down how he was using it for God's glory. And so I was like, yo, I'm going to keep on pushing with it. And from there started growing. Similar to Isaiah 6, it was woe is me for a man of unclean lips, I live amongst people, unclean lips. But once I saw the Lord and what he can do through stuff like this, I was like, let's go. So started doing stuff in the ministry in high school. And God's been walking with me since. But it was around that time that my mom's mental illness relapsed and our family like split up. So it's really just mental illness, faith, all that. It's a reflection of what's in my music, that living in between and that fear. You know what I'm saying? So
Man, yo, so it sounds like you got a story. Throw some amen in the chat for the homie right here, because it sounds like you got some stories, man. You got some things that has definitely helped grow you in your faith, I would assume.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's why I keep faith on top of the dome. You know what I mean? My whole goal is to fight fear and help y'all feel bold through the music I make. Just reflection of that, you know what I'm saying? So
I like how you were already kind of talking about, just going through different issues, going through different situations, or whatever. What would you say to somebody who is coming out of it, or maybe doesn't really? Let's say this: who doesn't really feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's go that route. If they don't, they just kind of seem like, man, COVID is this, and then 2021 was supposed to be this, but instead it became this and whatnot. And right before the year is over, there's still because holidays it tends to be kind of a tough time for a lot of people. What would you say to somebody who is kind of struggling, that they're kind of in the midst of that storm?
No, this is really good, man. I think my pastor shared a bit about this on Sunday, and also I've been kind of wrestling with it myself. Specifically in this book I'm reading called God's Favor, that 1 Corinthians 2:10 talks about no eye has seen, no ear has heard, nor the heart imagine what God's prepared for those that love him. And so I think when we consider ourselves and the plans we have, they can be so big, but also in so much fluctuation because we've only lived a certain amount of time. And even the people we look up to, like their eyes, their creativity, their thoughts, they shape a lot of what we think. But when we think about the mystery of the gospel, which in context, that's what Corinthians is talking about. He says right after that, but what's revealed to us by the Spirit is what the rulers of this age forgot, that Christ, they wouldn't have crucified Christ without that. So really it's Jesus that, because he's raised from the dead, all this death that we've been surrounded by, this loss we've been surrounded by, because at the end of the day, I had to grieve a lot of loss when the pandemic started. I was about to make I had 3 or 4 shows lined up. I was about to make literally the most I made doing music, starting off. And we've been in a constant state of not really knowing how to grieve. Some people feeling like, oh, I got to be on the grind now. But then people losing their lives. But it's like, yo, if Jesus actually raised from the dead, that changes everything. Every single loss we've experienced, every grief we've experienced, there is a living hope beyond what we can even see, you feel me, and imagine. So I just say, man, take time to actually grieve the loss, because sometimes we want to kind of speed up that process, but recognize yo, death is real, you know what I'm saying? And those many deaths we experience, friendships, relationships, opportunities, let yourself grieve that, you know what I mean? Don't try to rush that process. And the thing that God was pointing to that nobody has even imagined, that's Jesus. It says he's the exact image of the invisible God in Colossians 1:15. You feel me? So
yeah, and I would like to probably add to that as far as the let yourself grieve, and rather it's loss for anything else, whatever. But be sure that you're connected with the community, right? To grieve on an island by yourself, it can be bad, right? I feel like you could allow a lot of your own lies. You know, I think sometimes we often give Satan way too much power over us, and sometimes don't just realize, hey, you know what? That's just our own thoughts running rampant, right? We're to surrender our mind to God. So, grieve through it for sure. I totally agree, but I would definitely say community. If nothing else, if COVID did not teach many people many things, if nothing else, the importance of community, right? Having people that you can actually connect with. How has that been for you as far as not even just during the pandemic, just in general, just kind of where you are right now? How is that community in your life right now?
Man, I ain't even gonna hold you. It's been tough, and my people in the chat definitely let me know how it's been for y'all. But recently, praise God, I got married. You dig? But in that,
hey, congrats, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Probably went up. You did.
Left hand club. Okay.
Left hand club in the building. But in that season, though, we actually moved cities to from Muncie. I was in this town called Muncie on staff at a church, and so we actually went back to my hometown, home city, Indianapolis. You feel me? And so we've been trying to plug into a church right now, and on top of that, just develop the friendships we have. So 100%, it's been difficult. I've been in the thick of it to where I'm having to reintroduce myself to a lot of people. Even when you're in a church environment, it takes time to get to know people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So really, it's just been trying to be intentional about hitting up the opportunities they have to connect, and then hitting up the people that I do know and they're still in proximity to me. You feel me? So that's
that's good. Yo, I love the love that you are receiving right now in the chat.
Oh yeah, that's right there.
We got
we go visit soon, but we can't go back yet. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I love it. Hey, well, make sure you guys stick around. We've got a whole lot more in store, but we do have a top 10 that we're going over right now. It's viewer's choice, so make sure that you guys click on the link to make sure that you vote for next week as well. So we're going to go ahead and continue with the countdown, and then we'll come right back to the homie Rome. We've got number 9, D1, Not Afraid. Let's go.
D1.
Have you actually been an artist? How long have you been an artist, bro?
Question embarrasses me. Now I was playing. I've been actually since I was 7 years old. I wrote my first rap. No cap. I wrote it on a notebook talking about people causing trouble in the neighborhood. They was really rude, you know what I'm saying? But I feel
Yeah.
like over time, I only really started professionally pursuing it probably about like 6, 7 years ago, you know what I'm saying? So I say it's probably been good to 14 some years.
Hey, so you've been in there. You've been in that grind. So
Uh-huh.
that lends me to a question. And I feel like everybody always has a certain thought process, certain preconceived notions that they had before, they start something out. And then, of course, life experience, all that teaches you. What are some preconceived notions that you had prior to becoming an artist? What are some preconceived notions that you had of being an artist, I should say?
Yeah, I'll definitely say, and I forget one of my homies posted this. I think it was this guy named Lamar Riddick. He said in this clip that a lot of times, I think it was Jay-Z talking, we look at the end result of what people put out and we try to emulate that instead of the process that they did to get there. You know what I'm saying? So you look at the end result of people performing a show or the end result of the music being on the radio, right? And you think, oh dang, all I gotta do is get on the radio, get on TV, get on the show.
Right, right.
But then the curtain starts kind of coming down. You even start realizing the structure of some of those deals that weren't really in favor of the artists. Or
Yep.
you start realizing, yo, it takes a village, really. It takes a team from, because I know even now, cats try to say, like, oh, it's so much more you got to do. And back then, people could really just do music. But if you think about it, cats still had to do interviews. They still had to, you know what I'm saying, perform shows. Even some of the recording processes of having to record one takes over and over for each record you sold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think each era always has had its challenges. And my preconceived notion was always like, oh, this small slice of what I see is what it is of
Mm-hmm.
doing a show or putting an album out. You know what I'm saying? So
What are some of the struggles that you had to quickly that you quickly figured out? Like, okay, if I want to continue going in this route, I can't do this anymore, or I can't say yes to this anymore.
no, that's a really good question. I would say my biggest issue is I'm not a detail oriented person at all. Right, and a lot of people in here will attest to that. Chris knows I used to do music with him all the time. He get mad at me because I pull up to the show and probably not even have my merch stuff set up. He's like, "Are you trying to eat? Are you trying to just, you know what I'm saying, have fun out here?" So I think the biggest thing was getting organized and then leaning on other strengths, because sometimes we want to hold stuff on and make it seem like we got it. But when I really started sitting in sessions with artists like Chris, when I started, another guy, this dude named Alvin, who he just referenced to, like, I let them challenge the way I was making music and let them into the process of things that weren't finished. And then on top of that, this tool we're using right now called Asana that basically just allows you to set a date and a time to everything you're doing. You feel me? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we say we want to do this, we want to do this tour, we want to release this song. Okay, you're working on this song. When is it coming out? And then if you don't plan, you know what I'm saying? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I start
Yeah.
realizing that often, like last year, I was probably the most productive I ever been because I dropped like 6 or so joints back to back, month to month in the beginning of the year, because we really sat down and just said, okay, we try and get point A to B. What's everything in between that we just need to, you know what I'm saying, stay on top of? How we gonna rinse the taxes too? Like, you don't want that tax bill to hit you at the end of the year. You like, oh shoot,
Hoo-wee. No.
oh wow, and then now you dried up, so you can't put anything else out. So it's kind of like just learning those things to lean into other strengths too. Because at the end of that, like I said, I'm more of a visionary type person. You know what I'm saying? I'm more prophetic. But when you have those other people that can sort of like be on your head, like, hey, I know you think you do this. And my wife too, like she's really good at thinking like, okay, let's bring this down a level. How can you actually get there?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Don't overwhelm yourself with ideas that you're not gonna execute on.
I love that. And again, it goes back to kind of what we were saying earlier about just the community. You can't. We weren't meant to do life alone, right? We really were not meant to do that alone. And I think there's so many different discussions going on right now, just even the CHH world. And one of the conversations is always about unity, right? And so, in order to show that true unity and actually be unified, you gotta lay down your own pride, right? You gotta lay down a lot of your own ego, because I think, especially as men, right? Especially as men too. I'm not saying that obviously women can't as well, but especially as men, we tend to get this kind of prideful, like stick our chest, kind of beat and just, no, I got this, I can do this, and I think anytime anybody is quicker to come to the truth of, hey, not only am I not meant to do this alone, but there are certain attributes that I can give and that I'm able to be of value, as well as there's certain attributes that other people can be of value. So someone like you who may not be great at organization, obviously somebody like your wife who's like, okay, hey, how we're going to process out, that's beautiful, right? It's great to have that. And I think where most people would struggle, if we were to be honest, with a lot of different things in their life, is that they're eventually trying to do everything on their own. What have you done to keep yourself from doing that? Or is that something that you even struggle with? Like, do you even struggle with getting into a mode where you try to figure everything out instead of leaning on others?
Yeah, shout out to Dar in the chat, man. That's my day one homie. He been there since my mixtape days, and music was straight trash. You feel me?
Hey, welcome to the chat. What's up?
Yeah, we definitely got to break down the walls of toxic and hyper masculinity, you know what I'm saying? Because, to be honest, that's something I still wrestle with to this day. I think as an individual coming where we come from, a lot of times we don't want to lean on other people. And then even me harkening back to my story, when my parents split, really, I feel like I've been in a mode of trying to figure stuff out on my own since like 17, and I'm 25 now, you dig? So like when I was going through finding out my mom's was wrestling with finding housing, when I was trying to work a minimum wage job, trying to figure out how to flip stuff, it's like you start developing this type of mode to where you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and then you don't want to lean and rely on other people because you feel like they're unreliable. And I think really it just takes a time of being self-aware and asking people, because one of the things I've done on and off for years is like, I want to get into producing a bit. And it's good, definitely, don't get me wrong, skill stacking that stuff is helpful, right. But DIY doesn't mean do it all yourself, right? A cat like Alvin, he's elevated my style so much because he thinks more about for those looking for context, Alvin the Architect is a constant collaborator, producer I work with. We've been walking in community together for a while, like 5 years now. But he's somebody that he's way more melodic, and he's been able to draw that out of me to where I'm thinking about the message heavy, but I'm also thinking about how it will be received by the audience. Like, what are they gonna take away from it? What's the vibe people gonna get from it? You know what I mean? So I think it just helps to even at times where I am like trying to do it on my own, it's been helpful to have people that's kind of in proximity to you to just be like, yo, like, hey, what if I helped on this, or have you tried it this way? Or some people straight up tell you like, this is not good. Like, I remember
amen for those people too.
Yeah. I remember I hopped on it was like 2-some years ago, I hopped on Ruslan channel. A shout out to Ruslan. He did like Fan Love Fridays. And so a lot of times you go and you do songs at different churches and events, and you feel like you the one, but then somebody tell you like, the mix isn't that good. The hook, it kind of fell apart there. You need to work on, like, all these technical things start like taking you down, and I was realizing like, yeah, you got a lot of little things to work on. You feel me? So it really takes
absolutely.
That can be objective with you.
And my chat already knows this as well. I refer to myself as a natural born hater, so I am very quick to have any kind of feedback or whatever, but obviously, within love, of course, too. So it is good to have that. And I think if you're surrounded or have only been around people who are just always like, hey, great job, Billy, like, way to go, keep going, you can get met with reality, really quickly, and it sets you up for fail. What?
It's always Billy too, man.
I know, right? You got Billy and Susie, or Johnny and Susie. But yeah, no, good. That's good, man. I love that. I love that. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and continue on in the countdown. We're gonna go to number 6, and right after number 6, for those of you guys who are brand new to the chat, halfway through the show, we always stop and take time for prayer. So right out of the number 6 video, we are gonna go into prayer requests. So have those in mind and ready to go, and we'll definitely address those together. As a family here. So, and again, if you haven't already hit follow, make sure you guys hit the follow button. Appreciate everybody who's here so far. Let's go. Number 6, 1K for you and Lecrae. One call. Let's go. Yeah. So we're here to talk about your song, Be There. Can you unpack what that song means? And actually, before that, is the video sketching, is that of you and your wife?
Yeah, that is actually of me and the wifey.
Hey, that's dope. That's dope. Okay, so you guys will all get a chance to see it if you haven't already seen it. But can you unpack your song, Be There, for us?
Yeah. Just want to say holla to CC Butler, just hopped in the chat, man. Everybody that's been rocking so far. I'm so glad to be in like such a holy space such as this. I really feel like God set it apart, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, Be There particularly is just something I had in mind for a long time, no cap. And I intentionally released it the day before I got married, you know what I mean? Because it really just encapsulates those fears and those lingering questions that we have of when I'm bold, but also when I'm doubting, when I'm frowning, when I'm smiling. Like, will you be present in the midst of those things? I remember specifically that on the second verse, I got this line. How the line go? This is how I go. You forget lines, right?
Yeah.
The most. But basically, it's talking about like suicidal thoughts and answers to my questions. I'm thank God that He blessed with presence for another 24. Lord knows the days and the hours left to explore, but I plan like there's more. Because I had a birthday celebration at the time. I just realized, man, like so many goals, so many things I want to hit. My prayer list I keep on my wall is basically just a list of names, you feel me? And remembering people, you feel me, over just requests. Because we can get so caught up in just like, I want to do this next thing, God, I got this thing. But it's like people really form the basis of everything, you know what I mean? That's what God came to redeem is people, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's really just trying to beg that question too for other people. Think about who's going to be there for you and not just always what's next, always the engagement, always the number, especially in such a society where everything is driven by perception and highlights. You just really got to remember who's actually going to be there for you. And dropping that song at the beginning of the sort of the wedding, on the cusp of the wedding, I just really felt like kind of encapsulated just all my fears I was feeling and all the ways that I wanted her to feel as well. So shout out to my guy, Chris Max, who he headed out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, for those of you guys who have never heard of the homie Rome Herbert, he has got a song right here called Be There. And so we're going to go ahead and check it out right now. Let's go ahead and check it out.
First wedding, I cried in. You cried at your wedding?
All right, let's go.
How many takes do you usually do?
Yeah. I was just reminiscing, you know what I'm saying? Gotta let them know. Look, will you be there when I frown and I smile? When I laugh, when I cry, when I'm bored and I doubt? When I'm down and I'm bad, are you up and about? Will you be there? Tell me, will you be there? It's amazing all the ways I find refreshing favor. Like sunlight through blinds, open eyes to greatness.
Thanks y'all so much for the love on the track too and the visuals. Like, really appreciate that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was number 2, Aaron Cole, Only You. Hey, we were just talking about Aaron Cole too. So, but we've got our special guest for the evening, Rome. So something that I was reading on your IG bio is you you have a little statement there that says music for you to fight for. Is that how it goes? What is that?
Fight fear, yeah.
To fight fear. So there you go. Sorry. So music to fight fear. What does that mean? If you can unpack that for us.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate you asking the question. Shout out to everybody in the chat too, man. Like, I love rocking with these sounds. Like the whole set you got going on, it's crazy, big. But yeah, my whole goal with music, man, honestly, is, and this really been developed over time, is that I I want you to feel bold and move instead of listening to fear and feeling paralyzed, because fear is something that's so internal and can usually stop us. It's like this voice that tells us we're not good enough, or you can't finish that, you can't do this. Um, and there's certain limitations that, like a fear of God, that can be healthy, but then there's also this fear that's just debilitating that stops us. And
Yeah.
music, in my opinion, is something that's that you can hear something that can it completely shift. You know what I'm saying? It can change the whole game. And really, it's taking time for me to sort of develop this stance, because I just realized that, like, even in my family tree and my heritage, fear is something that we dealt with so much. You know what I mean? And then
Oh
fear
wow.
of the fear that I have being black in this country, the threats I face, the fear people have of me. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that I talk about in music, and then the stuff I wrestle with mental illness in my family that caused so much fear. And oftentimes when I open up about this stuff, I realize people also come out the woodworks and say, "Yo, this is the same stuff I wrestle with." So really,
Mm.
just trying to have that alternate voice. I want the music to be an alternate voice for you to be bold and move instead of fearful and paralyzed. So
Scripture says, right, we have not been given a spirit of fear, right? And fear, often, if not always, makes us make choices and have certain decisions, and points us to certain directions that we probably would never have gone had we've not been dealing with that kind of fear. I'm thinking of things of even like scary movies, right? There's always that person, right, who's getting chased by some killer, and they like loud as all get out, losing their mind, right? Run in the wrong direction, where we all yelling at the screen like, "Nah, chick, get out! You gonna die today!" And it's true. It is true. You can really struggle with something like that, with fear, and it is debilitating for sure. Name it so you can tame it. Oh yeah. Be honest, right? I think that's what you're trying to say in the chat. Problems, fear, anything tend to be scaled down when we scale up God, right? As we're scaling up God, as we're understanding who He is and how big He is and how amazing He is and how powerful He is, and how He's equipped us and who we are. I was talking to CC Butler actually earlier tonight, and we started talking about identity, right? If your identity is kind of fuzzy, if you don't really have a clear indication as to what your identity is, you tend to live in a state of fear, right? Would you agree on that?
no, there's facts. Yeah.
So what have you done to kind of keep yourself grounded, so that you can fight fear, so that your identity in Christ is so rooted, so that anytime fear does meet you, you can combat it? What are some things that you would advise somebody else to do?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think practical steps for one is kind of harkening back to what Stephanie said in the chat, is that you gotta be honest with what it is you are fearing. When you get clear on who the enemy is and the tactics of the enemy, you start realizing that it's nothing new. You feel me? Like,
Right? Yeah.
it's the same old casting doubt on certain things. It's the same old story. You feel me? Trying to get you to question what is good at the end of the day. So I was
Yeah.
becoming clear on what you're fearing, and then finding truth to combat that fear, right? So what I'll do is, if I'm fearing certain anxieties, I have to look into the Word of God and say, what are some things from the Word that speak specifically to this, right? We got common ones that say, cast all your cares, cast your anxieties on the Lord, for He cares for them. You feel me? So practically, that look like is, okay, let me hide that word in my heart. You feel me? So that when fear comes up, I start a new habit loop, right? And I triggered
Yeah.
that loop is now responding with the word. Yeah, having that practical step of just combating it with something. And then on top of that, like I said, getting around other people that can also empathize and sympathize with those fears that you have. That can like just be honest, like, yeah, I've dealt with that fear and I've been in that spot before too. So I know that it's possible to overcome that. That's why this point's
Yeah.
like somebody's a little bit farther than you along and a little bit behind you, because y'all can elevate it, that chain link up. So I say those are just a couple practical things that come to mind. Is you need to recognize what it is, and then know the best way to combat it. You feel me?
We keep talking about discipleship. I want to know what is discipleship look like currently right now in your life?
No, that's a good question, man. Like kind of how I mentioned before, it's been kind of a wrestle to be 100% because most of my relationships now is kind of those that are a little bit behind me, so now I poured into. So like my guy Alvin, like he's somebody that originally we did discipleship through a ministry, and now we've kind of just been life on life through as he's getting engaged now. I've been through that process and sharing some of the things with him, but I'm still kind of looking out for some more mentorship through my local church with my pastor getting plugged into some eldership. So that's definitely something I could be in. I want some prayer for, is just getting more plugged into my community to have that as the season has just changed so much.
Yeah, I think discipleship is it can be a really broad word, right? A broad term. What are some practical ways that you have discipled others, and then maybe that you have also received discipleship as well? Because sometimes we think of discipleship as like we have to go to church and we sit down in this classroom, and we like go into the word together, or whatever. So for some people it might look like that, but for others, I feel like it'd be a little bit different. What's your view of how discipleship has been from you to someone else, and then from someone else to you?
Yeah, man, that's really dope, man. I say the biggest thing for me is once I got to college, and shout out to Campus Ministries out there. I feel like I received a high level of intentionality that I never had before in terms of people walking alongside me in my faith. Like I gotten that snippets here and there in high school, but I first started to receive both in large group context and in one-on-one type meetings, just getting to break into the word and open it up, and then share the faith, like stuff like that. But I really feel like I didn't experience the true depths of discipleship till I lived with my guy. He was in the chat earlier too. His name is Chris Mack. He discipled me through the ministry formally, but then I became roommates with him. Like I think a year later, and that's when I feel like that life like really started to happen. I really started to see how he's living on a regular basis, be encouraged by that. And then the same type of thing cycle happened where the cat I met through the ministry, Alvin, he eventually came to live with me. And when I started seeing people just living together with people, and then those pockets like Stephanie's talking about too, where you get together to pray with people, you're learning, you're growing in discipline, right? That
Ooh, that's good. That's a good word.
To where it's the practical day to day, and not necessarily all the big mountaintop experience moments that we can kind of long for. You feel me? Yeah. So even now, like growing with my wife, like learning so much of her perspective, insights of God that she has. You feel me? Like I really feel like those relationships, we just live with people, and you're just around life, and you're all seeking to be like Jesus and follow Jesus, with the intentionality that all things, your whole psyche, your whole mind, your whole being has to shift to become like Christ. Like that's the whole aim behind that. So walking alongside people with that, I say that's a couple of my off the cuff thoughts.
I love that you specifically said that it's in the little things, right? You know, that we oftentimes, whether it's discipleship, miracles, healing, like anything, right? Anything, you know, God's blessings, we tend to turn it into a movie, right? You know, it's got to be this epic, you know, clouds, you know, breaking apart, whatever, you know, earth rumbling, you know, just crazy things. But I love that you specifically said that it's in those little things, and especially as far as discipleship is concerned. Again, it's definitely in those little things. It's the daily thing, right? It's what we would also refer to as doing life with one another, right? You know, oftentimes we can think of discipleship needing to be like, for instance, if I'm discipling somebody, I could have this preconceived notion that when we sit down and to get in the Word, all of a sudden they're going to understand everything and it's going to be great. They're going to be on fire and all that. And oftentimes, if we're being honest, we dig into God's Word, and I would say, just in all honesty, I look at the scripture and be like, yeah, no, I ain't got an answer for that question right now. We're going to have to figure that out because I am confused as you are. I don't understand the context. We need to go back and understand the heritage and everything else that's going on. You know, like all the, you know what I mean? Like all that back end stuff. So I feel like for you to make a point of it's in those small things is super crucial because it would help many people understand that discipleship is just doing life with one another, being transparent with one another, humble with one another, knowing that we are all in this walk together. We may be in different, you know, aspects of our life, but for the most part, we're figuring this out together, and it's the consistency, and that's what you experience when you were living with everyone. It's the consistency aspect that you got a chance to experience that you're just not gonna get if it's just once a week or, you know, even MixMondays or anything like this. This isn't enough. It's the daily walk, first and foremost with you and God, and then secondly, of course, with other believers as well. I love that, man. Thank you for sharing that.
You are Star Wars. How familiar with Star Wars?
I would not say I'm a fanatic by any means, but I do know of Star Wars. So yeah.
Okay, bet. It's this quick analogy I want to share if we got time.
Oh, go ahead. Absolutely. Go ahead. Take it away.
It's like, it's this meme that somebody shared. So Master Yoda, when he's teaching Luke something in the movies, it's like Luke is learning so much and feeling so impacted and empowered. But then the other side of the meme is when Luke is trying to teach the new Jedi Rey something in the new series. It's like he's messing up and failing, like she's not getting it, all this stuff. They basically just said, like, the first one is how it feels like when you're getting discipled, and the second one is how it feels like trying to disciple somebody. So it's like really leaning into that thing, like, man, it's gonna be messy regardless, and sometimes it's gonna feel like you're growing so much. When we try to pass that on, it's like, dang, I don't I don't get why they're not getting this. I don't know what to do. So you might want to go and grab Master Yoda, but it's like, nah, it's your time to start learning how to pass stuff on it, and
that's right.
Teach others to follow Jesus. So that's just, it always made that part always feel like embodies discipleship for me, because every time I was learning stuff, I feel like things were opening up so much. Whenever I try to pass stuff on, I felt like I was dropping the ball all the time.
Hey, again, that's what it is, man. We just figuring it out. And somehow Yoda always helps us out with analogy, whatever. Yo, so we've had an amazing time here on the show. I'm sure we'll definitely have you back on again. Shout out to everybody who has been in the chat, who's been showing love this whole time. Again, thank you for all the followers. We're here every single Monday. Before we head out, bro, before we get into number one, and we'll close up the stream with our. For those of you guys who are brand new here, we always end the stream with some TikTok. So we'll close out the interview, and I like to. I don't know about everybody else, but I like to go to bed happy, right? I like to laugh at some stuff, make myself smile, whatever. So, but before we get to all that, are there any future collabs or anything that you're wanting to do here in 2022?
Oh, man, I'm so glad you asked. First off, thank everybody for tapping in till late, you feel me? I know someone's got work in the morning. I do, you feel me? So I appreciate your time so much, you did. The biggest thing is I'm going to be on Twitch, actually. So y'all follow my page. I'm going to be back on here very shortly, you dig? And then I'm excited to work with my guy. I've been name dropping him all night, Alvin the Architect. Actually, if y'all can, y'all should have him on the show. He's an amazing brother, humble dude, loves Jesus, I say, more than me. He did.
Hey, anybody that you think, man, send him our way. Yeah, absolutely.
His story is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I really look forward to working on more music with him. And then I'm dropping songs back to back this year. You feel me? Each month. So tapping with me on Twitch. I'm gonna be streaming on here too. I'm gonna be probably people in here seeing the game that y'all doing. You feel me? And then trying to grow a Discord community myself. You dig? With my Patreon. So make sure y'all just stay tapped in with me. And I love to always love to get it in. And just excited for the year as a whole. You dig?
Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, thank you, Paul, too, man. Thank you for those kind words. I'm so glad to have you on the show. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I love your heart. Hey, well, I appreciate you, bro, man. Well, we're going to go ahead and close out the show. First, we're going to go into our number one. Yes, we do have a countdown. I know it's kind of late for some of you guys. It's okay. But I'm going to close out the show with our number one video. And then, of course, we'll go into our TikTok. So much love. Again, thank you, Rome. Till next time, bro. We'll have you on again, I'm sure.
Appreciate you, DJ Integrity. Shout out to Nisha Too Hot. Put me on to the opportunity, and everybody that's been rocking with this chat all night, man. We gonna have a good time. You feel me?
Yo, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Hopefully you found any of this content useful, and if you did, make sure you like and subscribe, and of course hit that notification bell so you can be notified for the next time that we upload anything. However, make sure that you're also following us on all of our social media platforms, and of course we want to see you guys live in the chat in our Twitch, so make sure that you guys are following us there as well. Love you guys. Peace.